Brooklyn is a 38-year-old religious studies teacher, intelligent, graceful, and strikingly beautiful. One morning, a new student named Louise joins her class. He's never studied religion before. When Brooklyn speaks about divine commandments, Louise challenges her. He says God's rules are just tools of control. In his view, people should chase their desires and do whatever brings them happiness. Brooklyn is taken aback. That night, over dinner with her husband Peter and their son Calvin, she hesitantly expresses her doubts. She questions whether God's laws are just, whether they strip people of their freedom. She says maybe it's better for people to follow what makes them happy instead. Peter, a priest, reacts sternly. He cuts her off, telling her to stop speaking such things. The next day at school, Louise is in the middle of an exam. Brooklyn enters and quietly takes a seat. Louise abandons his paper and fixes his eyes on her. His gaze is intense, bold. Brooklyn shifts uncomfortably and lowers her head. Yet somewhere deep inside she relates to him. She too feels stifled by the weight of God's expectations. She longs to breathe freely. That night, while driving alone, she spots Louise smoking by the roadside. She tells him it's wrong to smoke there. Then, impulsively, she takes him to a hidden spot where she used to smoke years ago. There she opens up a little and asks about his life. Louise reveals that he left Germany to escape his strict parents. He came here in search of freedom. Then suddenly he leans in and kisses her. She pulls away, firmly telling him it's wrong and must never happen again. But despite her words, Louise feels something he hadn't before. Something exciting and good. The next day, after school, Louise shows up at Brooklyn's house with Calvin. He's befriended her son, cleverly using the bond to stay close to her. One afternoon, while she's in the kitchen, Louise quietly approaches from behind and touches her. Brooklyn recoils, but Louise looks so hurt that she can't help but soften. She begins to care for him, and Louise senses it. He knows now that she feels something too. Worried things are getting out of control, Brooklyn drives him home. Before he gets out, she tells him to keep his distance. But in the car, Louise touches her again. This time, Brooklyn doesn't stop him. Her marriage has grown cold. Peter no longer looks at her with warmth. And Louise, he sees her. After that moment, she can't stop thinking about him. Her heart begins to drift. The following day, Brooklyn visits Peter's parents for lunch, but their home is no refuge. They begin to lecture her about virtue, self-control, and obedience. She feels suffocated again. When she returns home that evening, she tells Calvin she's going to see a friend, but she goes to Louise instead. That night, they begin a romantic relationship, but secrecy brings fear. The next day, she visits her friend Mary. Mary tells her that Calvin had called the previous evening, asking where she was, and that she had seen Brooklyn with Louise. Panic sets in. Brooklyn realizes her hidden affair may be exposed. In a flurry of emotion, she rushes to Louise. She tells him the truth and tries to end things, but he refuses. Angry and wounded, he begins to blackmail her, flashing a photo of her undergarments at school. Brooklyn is terrified. In a desperate move, she grabs his phone and smashes it. Louise explodes in rage. Brooklyn reports him to the school and Louise is suspended, but that only fuels his obsession. One night, he breaks into her home and poisons Peter's insulin. Peter is diabetic. The next day, when Brooklyn returns from school, she finds police at her doorstep. Louise is threatening suicide. The police take her to him. In front of everyone, including Peter, Louise confesses everything. Peter, blindsided and broken, collapses from a heart attack. He survives barely after emergency care, but Louise doesn't. Later that night, he jumped into a ditch, ending his life. Brooklyn only ever wanted to be free, to live without chains. But in seeking that freedom, she crossed a line with a boy whose love turned into obsession. Now her world is in ruins. Her husband won't speak to her. Her home is silent. Her freedom came at the cost of everything.